My name is Bria Turner, and this is my Week 12 project on decreasing aggression. So aggression to me is, I think it's different forms of aggression. Like, some people can be aggressive in the way they talk, or you can be aggressive in the way you do things. Like, sometimes women are just automatically seen as aggressive just because, like, they're passionate. So I feel like it's like a word that kind of has a negative connotation on it, I don't know, just depending on who it's being used to describe, I feel like. Um, I feel like you can be aggressive without being like physically aggressive. Like you can just be aggressive the way you talk or the way you say things and like basically like that. Like I feel like aggression is less so being physically violent, but more so being, I guess, violent with your words. Now violence to me is to like physically hurt someone or to like cause harm to someone or something. Like you don't always have to be violent to a person. Like I think someone's violent if like they're maybe arguing, go up to a car or kick a car or something like that. Like that to me is being violent. Or also just like getting really loud and maybe yelling at someone using profanity. I feel like that's violent. Like doesn't always have to be physical, but usually when the word violent comes to mind, I'm thinking of like putting your hands on someone, being violent, like violently attacking someone, like basically along those lines. Okay, so for the acts of aggression and violence that I found in my neighborhood, I walked around my community, like my apartment, and like found some things that I felt were aggressive or violent. So the first thing I found was these blinds, and that just was an act of aggression to me because you just know when someone like I feel like you kind of have to violently or aggressively pull blinds for them to get, you know, to break or to get to that point where they're like missing and stuff. I just know in like my own situation, if my blinds act like that or like break like that, it's because I was like violently tugging on them or aggressively pulling them. Um, this is the wall like outside leaving out of the garage. This was an act of aggression violence to me because I feel like you had to really force something through there to make it get to this point because this is brick. So you had to be very violent and like aggressive to get it to the point where it's so destroyed where like the L fell off, like the um pipes or bar it looks like barbed wire or whatever is like broken, the brick is destroyed. It's like somebody had to be very violent and aggressive to make it even get to that point. The next thing I found was the parking pole. It was like literally lifted up off the ground and the cement around it is like breaking and crumbled. Um, this shows aggression to me because like somebody probably hit it pretty hard. Um, like you had to violently hit your car with that for it to come out the ground. Like it's literally cement and like those big huge screws. So you had to hit that pretty hard to the point where it's like literally coming out of the ground. Um, Sorry. The next thing is this broken door handle. So this is active violence to me or aggression to me because I actually know how I got like that. Sometimes people let people in who don't live here, and all the doors you have to use a key fob to get in. So some like um people or college students sometimes will kind of violently use the handles and like purposely break them so that they can get in without having to use the key fob and stuff like that. It's the same thing that happened to like our front door to enter the building. They were like these college students and they like aggressively pulling on the door to the point where it's broken now again so that they can like get in without having to use the key fob or call up basically. So that's basically an act of aggression to me because it's just unnecessary and you had to do a lot to literally get this door handle like dingling. um Sorry. Okay. So another act of aggression is this floor. You see it's like almost coming up completely. Um this shows aggression to me because it's like somebody, I don't know what they were doing, but they destroyed the floor pretty good. Like I'm assuming they either tried to move something through there that shouldn't be there and like had to like forcefully or aggressively push it or do whatever to the point where it like lifted up the the flooring. So that's a sign of aggression to me, because I think you have to be pretty aggressive to literally lift up all those floor panels to the point where they're like coming up basically off of it. So next for my program, I named it WOW, and it stands for Words Over Weapons. So for this program, I'm targeting high school students, and for like who I want to be involved will be students, teachers, faculty, like everybody in the school basically to be a part of it. I want this to occur bi-weekly in the schools, because I feel like it's really important to keep up with things to help prevent like school shootings. So I feel like it needs to be pretty frequent, because you never know what somebody's going through. So what my program is about, like the point of my program is to help kids understand the danger of guns. So basically what I want to do is set it up so that every 2 weeks, like the school kind of changes around their schedule. And instead of having like classes for like maybe the first 2 periods, like for one period, they'll talk about dangers of guns and like how, what can happen if you use a gun, or like, what can lead to maybe somebody needing to use a gun. Like just basically understand how dangerous it is to use one. And then in like the next period, they'll talk about mental illness. And I think this is a big thing, especially for high school students. I think you go through a lot in high school, and mental illness can really take a toll on your brain and your body and your learning, and you just never know what someone's going through. And that's why I said give kids who are suffering mental illness a place to talk, a safe place to talk. And not only will I have like those classes, but every day I'll have like a room set up where they can talk to someone who's actually like a grief counselor specifically for mental illness, to like, because some people don't want to talk in front of a whole bunch of people. Like they want to be off alone and speak to someone in confidence. And I feel like just helping people who are suffering from mental illness issues can really prevent a lot of school shootings, because usually when a school shooting occurs, like the person is sent somewhere because they have mental illness issues. So I feel like talking about it, understanding what it is, and helping like children who have mental illness get help can really take a huge toll on the number of school shootings that happen, because it's really high now. So yeah, with my program, I just intend to like just bring awareness and just help kids understand what can happen, like when school shootings happen, like how it affects people, how like people's lives change for the worse and things like that. And just like, I say bi-weekly too, because I feel like I was going to do once a month, but I feel like it needs to be more frequent, because, if somebody's going through something, they shouldn't have to wait a whole month to talk to someone. But that's also why I have the grief counselor there every day, in case they need someone to talk to right away. Okay, so what I want to focus on for my 3 topics for my program is mental illness, bullying, and depression. So I say bullying because bullying, I think, is also a really big part in school shootings and stuff, because bullying can really tear someone down, and sometimes bullying gets so bad too, they feel like they have no other way out, And I'm not in any way like defending school shootings. I think they're terrible, but I think when you push someone so far, it can lead them to do things that they would never usually do. And don't get me wrong, I think some people who do school shootings are just crazy and evil, but a lot of the times it is due to bullying. And like some people are bullied so bad, like they're bullied in school and they go home, they're being bullied online, so it's literally no escaping. And it's like they're thinking the only way I can stop this is like to, get rid of this person. And I want to just kind of make students also in my program understand how bullying can affect someone, and how much of a toll it can take on people, and how it can lead them to do terrible things that they, maybe wouldn't have done if they weren't bullied. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to focus on. And also depression. I feel like depression also plays a huge role in school shootings because, like, again, when you're depressed, you kind of feel like, you have really nothing to lose. You're just in a dark place. You have no one. It's lonely. And I think that's bullying also, I think, will definitely leads to depression. And as well as because depression is a type of mental illness. So I think that, like, these are all things that need to be talked about in order to, make things better and to hopefully, lower the number of school shootings that happen, because too many lives are lost. And, like, I feel like if, stuff like this is brought to students' attention, students who don't understand, or don't know what to do, or may not even realize that they are suffering from mental illness and stuff like that. Like, I feel like just this program can really help bring attention to it and help someone who needs help get help, or who can afford help get help for free. So then last time I talked about how these topics lead to pain or stem from pain. So the text states that violence is more likely when aggressive cues release pent-up anger. And this kind of stems to what I was talking about with the bullying. Like I was saying, bullying people, it gets like pent-up anger in you, and you kind of, I think the school shooting is them exploding. Like, it's like the violence, that's their only way for them to get their anger out and to really express how angry they are. So they think that that's something they have to do to kind of, in a way, I don't want to say, maybe get their point across, I guess. And definitely, if they're bullied forever and ever, and if it's like I said, they're bullied at school, they're bullied at home, it's like no escape, and it just builds up because they feel like they have no one to talk to, no one to go to. So, it gets to that point where they feel like they have to commit a violent act. And that's why I say, I want them to have someone to talk to and someone they can go to so that they don't have to get to that point. Also, guns definitely, the text talks about how guns make people more aggressive. Like, they did a study and they set up like a simulation and basically people who use the driving simulator with a gun, they drove more aggressively. And I think that even just maybe them knowing they have access to a gun, like if the student has access to a gun, that kind of stems their mind to, this is how I can solve my problem. Like, I think also, gun safety is something important to talk about to them in my program. Like, I just want them to know, the dangers of using a gun and, how it can hurt people. So, yeah, that's basically the point of my program, I think if this is initiated or whatever, I think it could definitely save a lot of lives and prevent a lot of, school shootings, and hopefully make it get better, because it definitely seems like they're getting worse and they're happening more frequently. Like, clearly the only reason that's happening because of, COVID, so there hasn't been any recently, but they're definitely getting more frequent. And I definitely know firsthand, because when I was in high school, our school was almost like a victim of a school shooting, but luckily they had arrested him before he did it, so that's saved a lot of us. But I think that could have been prevented if he would have gotten help or had help. And I just think help will just save a lot of people's lives and, help things get better. And here's my reference page.